Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Jeremy S. from T-Tag here, thetruthaboutguns.com, out as usual in the woods of Idaho. Today it's a bit cold and rainy, but I brought my CZ Scorpion out to have a little bit of fun because in the past couple of months I've slapped a bunch of aftermarket accessories on this guy, and I wanted to go over them with you, show you what I've added so far, and I think I'm going to keep kind of playing with this thing for the next, I don't know, indefinitely. Every time something comes out for it, I'm probably going to slap it on, test it out, see if I like it. This is a really fun platform to tinker with. Been having a great time with this gun so far. So let's go in for a closer look, see what I've slapped onto it. I'll give you my impressions so far, and everything on it has at least a couple hundred rounds through it. I've become familiar with all of it. Really digging it so far. All the stuff that's on it right now is going to stay on it unless another aftermarket company comes out with something better or there's a new version or whatever. But all of them I have found to be improvements over the factory pieces. So let's check them out. Actually, you know what? Put a couple rounds through it first. Good as always. Okay, first up, let's cover this sling. The sling is from Sandstorm Custom Rifle Slings. They also made a great sling for my Tavor, and what they specialize in is paracord rifle slings. They'll make them in a bunch of colors and a bunch of different weave patterns, any length that you want. This one has an adjustment on it, so I can make it tighter or looser depending on the clothes I'm wearing and how I want to carry the rifle here. But also, most importantly, it's adjustable because this is a convertible sling from 2-point to single point. You can see on here this QD adapter that's woven into it. So I like a 2-point sling. It holds the rifle steadier when you're actually carrying it, and when I come up to shoot it, I can pull it against the sling. It's pulling hard on the sling right there. I'm bracing it outwards with my front hand, and it's very stable, rock steady, and that's something that this sling offers, and the adjustable length is really important, so I can get it right to that right tension point every time. Now I can also take this front one off. It's a QD socket, and hook it back here, at least in theory, on this QD socket. Now I've got a single point sling. In some ways, single point is handy. It offers a lot of maneuverability with the firearm. I can throw it around, go to a pistol a little bit easier, but you know what? It's gonna smack you in the balls. Thankfully, because I can shorten this one up, I can tighten it and I can carry it single point a little bit higher on me. You can see there's slack in this from where I would want it. So that adjustment is pretty crucial when going single point. I actually highly doubt I'll use this. One thing it's handy for is if you have the rifle off, you can hang it up on a hook, on a wall, or something. You can use it for different purposes. I can take this, I could wrap it around a branch on a tree, use that for support, but mostly I'm going to run this thing in 2-point configuration. And like so. Easy to go back and forth, except when your fingers are numb. Now the first question that might be popping into your mind at this point is, how did we make that happen? Because the Scorpion doesn't have QD sling swivel points. Mine does now, and that's because of Parker Mountain Machine. They are machining aluminum QD sling sockets that you can put on the front of the rifle on either side or on the rear. This one can actually switch from side to side. If you go from this side to the right side of the gun, it ends up being in front of the factory little plastic piece that's there for mounting a sling. Very simple, elegant solution. They have them in both free rotation ones, which is what these are. Might have been a mistake on the rear. With the ones that lock the orientation of the swivel, you can also lock the orientation of the rifle to a certain degree. These ones are free to spin around. I thought I would prefer that on the Scorpion, and I'm not sure. I'm going back and forth. It may not sit in the exact orientation I want when it's on my body. I'll show you that in a second. So I just loop this around. There we go. When I'm carrying the gun, it sits at a bit of an angle. If this were a locked swivel in the rear, I could force the gun to stay a bit more vertically like this. Whatever, small detail. I ended up changing out that rear stud, but I love having a sling on the Scorpion. I wanted a 2-point sling, and of course the factory setup with that little key ring doesn't allow for that. It's really single point only. This is a great setup. Loving it. Thank you, Sandstorm, for another great sling. I mean, everything they make is entirely custom. You tell them the length, you tell them the colors, you tell them what kind of connections you want. They'll do the HK clips. You can get a single point for your Scorpion with the factory clip using that key ring. The HK hook is great for that. But yeah, I've had it for a while now, and it's holding up like my Tavor one, which I've had for 3 years. Big fan of the sling. QD points, working great. Okay, next up, sling is off for this little demo. The magazine release that you see here, this is from Gearhead Works. Obviously it's a replacement for the factory magazine release, and it adds a couple of features that I think are really great. First of all, you'll notice the sides are squared instead of tapered away from you. What this allows is much easier activation in the magazine release with your trigger finger. I can very easily get in there, push forwards on it, and pop that magazine loose. It's hard to do on the factory ones because the sides angle away. It's not only a far reach, but it's hard to get enough purchase on it. This, obviously, very easy. However, it's fair to say that's still not my preference. I like reaching up and grabbing the magazine, using my thumb to release it, and just stripping it out. This mag release makes that particularly easy with the addition of this paddle on the bottom. Kind of an HK MP5 style paddle there. Reach up, touch it, pull the magazine out. Super, super easy. Loving that. And of course it works if you grab the side too. So anywhere you get your thumb up there, you're getting that magazine out. Show you the other side. It is exactly the same, of course. Fully ambidextrous, just like the factory unit. It's 6061 aluminum. Little machine piece. It's anodized after that. Fit was perfect. Fit, function, you know, finish, everything about it is great. Just under 40 bucks there, and I've been loving this thing. You probably already noticed that really cool looking trigger shoe on my Scorpion there. Naturally, here I am out in the woods. I've had this thing for a couple of months now, been shooting it a lot, and I can't remember the exact name of the manufacturer I got it from. Nelson Precision Machine, I think, is the one. The correct information is up on your screen. It's a straight trigger shoe, which I freaking love. It's aluminum, which I do like the feel of better than the polymer factory one. It is serrated on the front there. It feels nice on the finger. Freaking looks cool. Love this thing. Now, no functional changes inside of the gun, of course. This doesn't touch the sear or the hammer or any other part of the internals of the trigger. It is just a trigger shoe, but it looks freaking cool, and it feels good too. Next up is that cool looking safety. This is also from Parker Mountain Machine, the company that makes the QD sling swivels that you see on there and on the back. There's a couple of options, either with a long lever or a short lever. You would do the long like this on the thumb side of the gun, dimples on that little ball or just smooth, and it's very easy to flip off with your thumb like that. I prefer putting the safety back on with my index finger on the other side because the detent inside the Scorpion is rather stiff. So let's look at what we have on that side. Okay, flipping her around, also from the same company, Parker Mountain Machine. This is the short lever, and it allows you clearance, so you don't get that dreaded CZ Scorpion trigger bite. As you can see, with that short lever, plenty of room there, and I can reach up with my trigger finger, flip it back on, off, flip it on. And yeah, I do break my grip to do it, because that detent in there is so stiff. I'm thinking about filing it down a little, but there you go. We've retained the ambi safety, yet alleviated that problem of trigger finger clearance. These are machined aluminum and anodized as well. Last but not least, grips from Yeti Works. This is the Everest. I also have the Matterhorn, which is a straight back version of this. Either one, it's a lot more vertical than the factory CZ Scorpion grip, which really has a pronounced forwards angle to it. This is much more comfortable on a gun with a short length of pull, which definitely describes the CZ Scorpion in pistol form and describes most of them like this one in SBR form too. Comfortable palm swell on it. I really like this one. The Everest feels good. It is 3D printed out of a type of nylon. It's pretty tough. It's a little more flexible than the factory material. I've carried the rifle around by it quite a lot, and it's a strong piece, at least strong enough. Is it as strong as the factory one that's glass reinforced nylon that's injection molded? No, it's not, but it is strong enough. I put this thing on the floor, I stood on my rifle, and I cranked up on that grip pretty much as hard as I could, and it wasn't going anywhere. I started getting worried about the attachment on the receiver there, because obviously I can't break this receiver. It's my registered SBR part. Of all the parts I put on the Scorpion so far, aftermarket parts, this is probably my least favorite, not because it doesn't feel good, but because of the 3D printing. It just kind of looks and feels like a prototype. I'm expecting great things from Yeti Works in the future. They're going to keep refining the design. This is a very early one, but again, it's good enough, but they've got room to make it even better. Still, I like it more than the factory one, so it's staying on. That's a wrap. I'll do another one of these videos in a few months if I add any more crap. Awesome. I'm in the middle of the woods, by the way, hitting trees. There's nothing around here for about 40 miles. So for all you safety commenters, on this list of parts, my favorite things, it's a tie. These sling swivel studs are awesome because it allows me to run a 2-point sling, which I've wanted to do on my Scorpion pretty badly. That feels good. In addition, this magazine release, love it. It's awesome. I love being able to do it from either hand. Mostly, I like coming up and just stripping out the mag. That way I can get the next one, pop it in there, good to go. It's a great, great piece. The trigger looks cool. That's why I got it. I also like the flat trigger. Functionally, not an improvement. I mean, it's the same thing, but I like the feel of it. So those things right there, those are my absolute favorites. The grip made a good difference, but I'm looking forward to V2.0 on that guy. Again though, it's staying where it is. Thanks as always for joining me out in the woods. I'm going to do a separate review for all of these things, a gear review on thetruthaboutguns.com. So if you want to see close-up photos, more information, links to the manufacturers, that sort of stuff, I'll put the links in this video description to each review as it goes live. At this point, that's the magazine release, and the grip, I think, is all that I've done so far, but we'll hit the others very, very soon. Please like and subscribe if you would, and I'll see you out here next time.